Alright class, so this lesson is about evaluating functions, and some of this might be a review from the first lesson that we did about functions. So let's review what is a function notation and how do we use it to find function values. So I have four different functions here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and each function starts off with the letter. We have F, G, H, and J, and these are just the function names. So for example, this is the F function, this is the G function, H function, and the J function. Okay, so this is when we go to our problems, this is for here it's calling the F function right here. And then after that we write a parentheses and we have an X here, and it represents our input. Okay, and it just basically tells us what is it that we have to substitute in for our function here. So let's look at the first example. It says f of 2, find f of 2 for the given value of x. So my input here is 2. So I'm going to go up here, since this is the f function, I'm going to write this down. And then you have, just substitute for x, I'm going to plug in my 2 here. Okay, and then I'm just going to evaluate it. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 4 is 8. So here, my input or my x value is 2, and then my y value is 8. Remember, ordered pair, you always write your x value first and then your y value second. So this is how I'm going to express my answer right here. The next example, I'm calling the g function. So the g function is up here. G function is x, excuse me, x minus 2. And then for my x, my input here is 10. So I'm going to plug in 10. I like to always put, whenever I'm plugging in something for x, I like to put parentheses. 10 minus 2. Here the 10 minus 2 is 8. So my input, what did I plug into the function? 10. My output, what was my result? That's equal to 8. Okay. This is calling the j function, which is up here, the j function. So I'm just going to bring this down, write it down. And then I'm going to plug in my input, which is 3. Always make sure you put it in with parentheses so we don't make any mistakes here. So here I have 3 squared, which is 3 times 3, 9, minus 4 times 3 is 12. 9 minus 12 is negative 3. Okay, so my input here is 3 and my output here is negative 3. Alright, and I'm going to do 3 more examples here, and here I just want to introduce the calculator, something about the calculators we have in class. It does the order of operations for you, so if we are able to know exactly what to plug into the function, we can enter it in our calculator and then it will do the order of operations for us. So for this example, it's calling the f function, which is 2x plus 4. Let me just write that down so I know what that is. 2x plus 4. And then I am plugging in my negative 4, and for my x I'm going to say 2, and then I'm going to put a parentheses for my x, plug it in, and then so now from here on out I'm just going to put it in my calculator. So 2 parentheses negative 4, close parentheses, plus 4, enter, and I get negative 4. So my answer here is negative 4. So to write that answer as an ordered pair, my input is negative 4, my output is negative 4. H of 5, I'm just calling the h function, which is negative 3x plus 8. Let me just write that down here. Negative 3x plus 8. And then I'm going to plug in my x. So this is negative 3 parentheses, my x here is 5. And then From this point on, I'm just going to plug it in my calculator and then get my output, which is equal to -7. Okay. Alright, so my input is 5 and my output is -7. And then my last example I'll do on this page is we have -4. Sorry, what am I doing? First I have to call the function here. So -4, which is, the j function, which is up here, x squared minus 4x. I'm just going to rewrite it here, x squared minus 4x. And then I'm going to plug in my input, my x, and -4 squared minus 4 parentheses -4. And then I'm going to put this in my calculator. So parentheses -4 to the second power minus 4 parentheses -4. 32. So to write it as an ordered pair, my input was -4 and my output was 32. I just have 3 more examples here for you to try. Alright, I'm going to go to the next page and I'm going to show you the same type of thing, except it's just written a different way. Okay, so how do we deal with this? Let's look at the first problem. It says to evaluate each function, and so again, this is a function and it's written in function notation. It's just with different letters. So this is, I would read this as, I'm just going to write this, P of T. Okay, the function name is P and my input is 3. Not 3, sorry, my input is T, which is kind of like our x. Alright, so just take that down. So here, and then it says to find P of -5. So my input here is -5. So that's what I need to plug in. So for T, I'm going to put a parentheses. I'm going to plug in -5, close the parentheses, and then put the 3 out here, plus 2 parentheses -5 squared. And then from here, I'm just going to plug it in my calculator. -5 cubed plus 2 -5 squared, and we have -75. Okay, all right. So to write this as an ordered pair, we have my input, which is -5, and my output is -75. Okay. I'm just gonna kind of skip around here. I'm gonna look at when I have fractions, and I just want to show you how do I deal with fractions in my calculator. So first, let me set this up. So I have g of x equals -1 plus 4 over 3x, and I'm asked to find g of -2. So my input is -2, so let me rewrite this. -1 plus 4 over 3 times -2. Okay, so if I'm just going to put this in my calculator, so you have -1 plus, and then to do the fraction, and I'm just going to write it here. So if you want to have like this little neat fraction bar in your calculator, you can do that by just pressing alpha and then press y equals and then press the first one, or you can just say 1. Okay, let me show you what I did. So I did alpha, y equals, and then just take the first one here, and then you have a nice little fraction bar, so that you don't have to use parentheses, and it gets kind of messy that way. So just anytime you see a fraction, just use this, put it in a fraction bar in there. Parentheses, -2, close parentheses, and you have your answer right here. The answer is -11 over 3. I'm just going to do one more example, this example right here. So I have g of n equals -17 over 5 n plus n squared. and we're asked to find g of negative 6 over 5. Okay, so let me just set up my problem. So negative 17 over 5 parentheses, and my n is negative 6 over 5 plus parentheses, n is again negative 6 over 5 squared. Okay, now I'm going to plug this in my calculator. Yeah, it's gonna be a little painful, but that's okay, we can do it. Negative alpha y equals 1, 17 over 5, parentheses, negative alpha y equals 1, 6 over 5, close parentheses, plus parentheses, negative alpha y equals 1, 6 over 3, 6 over 3, and then we're going to hit squared. Okay, let me just double check everything is entered in. Nope, I messed up right here. I put a 3, it should be a 5. There you go. There you go, that's my answer. So that is 138 over 25. And then if I were to write this as an ordered pair, you have your input, which was negative 6 over 5. And my output is 138 over 25. Okay.